as you accept that all of this is going on and that there is a reality and that it is full of the things that you have created, and it will, as it has already come from a vibration to the thought of your desire, this thought of your desire will turn to real things. It will turn to fortunes. It will turn to bank accounts. It will turn to relationships. It will turn to empires. It will turn to anything that you want it to turn to. These vibrational then thoughts do become things. That's what creation is all about. And so if you have been a physical human who has been walking around just looking at the things that have already been created, you might not be aware of how they got there. But we want you to begin to make the association between the thoughts that you've been thinking and what those thoughts are turning to. In other words, thoughts do turn to things. This is the creative process. And so we say all of that in the way of just giving you this one statement, which is the most important statement that you will ever know. Your thoughts matter a lot. And you can tell by the way you feel whether you are encouraging your creation to become more right before your eyes or whether you are slowing it down. It will mature and it will become more because law of attraction and natural momentum say that it must be. But you, dear hearts, have become so adept at beating the drum of what is that you so often do not allow the natural maturation of your own creations. When you want it, it is supposed to come, and it is supposed to surprise and delight you as it does. And as you look around your world, you know those masters. You see them. You see those people who come up with an idea about something that has never been before, and then sometime later you see it changing the whole face of your society because one person believed in something that nobody else believed in. And at first you call them crazy, and you often do not like them very much. You often see them as rebels, but we want you to know each of you has come with the potential of finding your own ideas and allowing Source, who creates worlds, to get behind you like the wind and blow you toward the realization of everything that you want. You are supposed to get what you want. So, sometimes you want to have a debate about materialism versus spiritualism. Am I not supposed to be more spiritual? Should I be caring about these things? And we say, that's a good point. When you care about things that you can't figure out how to get, you actually work in contradiction to your own allowing the thoughts to turn to things. But there is nothing that is more spiritual than the material things that are around you, because they are the leading edge of creation. And so if you will come to realize that you are a creator, but if you will put your emphasis upon how you feel, that's how you tend to the nurturing of the beginning of those thoughts. And if you care about how you feel and you allow yourself to hold that thought, it will become a reality. It is our promise to you. Esther's husband, Jerry, he made his transition about 4 years ago. But when Esther met him, she was so exhilarated by knowing him because he already somehow had come to understand that thoughts do turn to things. And she watched him through the years that she was with him, over 30. And she noticed that when he had an idea about something, he often didn't talk about it to her in the early stages. And she always thought that was odd. At first it really bothered her. You know, you need to let me in on these things in case I don't want to do them. And he would say, precisely. Why would I talk to you about something before I have enough momentum that you can't stop it from happening? And Esther thought, that's tricky. I don't know if I like that very much. But she really had no choice because Jerry was very private about things, very contemplative. She'd see him sitting at his desk, and he'd be sitting, and he'd have his notebook out on his table as if he was going to write something really profound and important. And she would look sort of as she was walking by. She would realize that nothing was written, but that he was deep in thought. And she used to call him the contemplator, because she could see that he was contemplating. And as time went by, she knew that it wasn't really very nice of her to interrupt his contemplation. Because if she would say, what are you thinking about? He would say to her, that is really not any of your business. And she would say, all righty then. I'll go do something way more fun than what you're doing. But later, Jerry wrote a paper, and he called it, Keep Your Ideas to Yourself Until They Are Fully Developed. Because he knew, innately, he knew that if his idea was allowed to be nurtured by the absence of resistance, that the energy that creates worlds would infuse it and support it, and that things, wonderful things, would come as a result of that. You all were his idea. He knew when he found Abraham flowing through Esther that this was something worth hearing. And Esther said, "If you tell anyone, I will personally kill you." Because she thought this was weird then. 1985 felt weird. Felt really weird. She knew infinite intelligence was flowing. She knew how good it felt. She could feel the power of it unquestioningly. She knew the value of it as they began applying it to her life. She was worried about what people would think of her if she were to allow something so unusual and so magnificent to occur. So Jerry kept her promise for a little while. And then, one day, he opened his big mouth and said to an influential person who was gathering quite a lot of number of people to a conference, "Would you like to meet Abraham?" And Esther looked at Jerry, and if looks could kill, he would have made his transition in that moment. She could not believe that he was following his dream. She could not believe that the impulse was so strong within him that even though he honored her and even though he knew that she really did not want to have you see her do this, he knew the importance of it. And so what we're getting at here is that there are all kinds of things that you want that you're not even willing to admit that you want because there are resistant ideas around it. You don't want to be seen as weird. You don't want people to really know who you really are. You don't want to be the odd one out. You don't want to be criticized. You don't want to be misunderstood. Maybe you don't want to find failure. There are so many reasons that you don't allow yourself to allow what's in your vortex to grow and evolve and give you the joyous life experience that you were born to live. We just want you to know you were born to live it. And we think it's time for you to come out into the light and allow the desires that are yours to come to full fruition, where others can see them, whether they like to see them or not. We are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you.
I think I'm a really good student because I've been following all of your teachings. I do this focus field every morning. And the last thing I did this focus field for was about the money. I know that I have a good relationship with money, but I do this focus wheel every morning, me and my wife actually, and we did it for the lottery last time. I know that one day I'm gonna win, I'm gonna be prosperous, and I've been believing in that, but my question is, why is it not coming now? Or am I putting some resistance onto that, or?
Let's see if we can figure this out. So, how many lottery tickets did you buy?
Okay, I got
how many tickets did you buy?
45.
45 tickets. And how many lottery tickets were in the mix? How many billions of lottery tickets were in the mix? So, do you have any feeling of odds or statistics in your vibration?
I mean, I was an engineer, so I know about that.
Oh, really? Oh, really? So this very pragmatic engineer who knows the relationship between 44 and 4 billion.
But I want to follow your teaching. I don't want to think about that statistics.
Well, we want that too. We want that too. And we know that when you are thinking about it in the way that we know, rather than in this way, that then those thoughts will turn to things for you. But that's not the case yet. You're still thinking this way. Mm-hmm. So you haven't lined up with it. If you're going to buy a lottery ticket, you got to line up with universal assistance, not with the statistics or the odds, you see. Do any of you ever buy a lottery ticket and say, this is a sure thing for me? Or are you at best hopeful? You got to go beyond hopeful. And you know what's beyond hopeful? Knowing or not caring at all.
Knowing and not caring at all.
Knowing that you're going to win, or it being fun and a game and it not really mattering. Because those statistics are active in your vibrational experience. So This was a discouraging conversation for so many of you. But what we're really saying to you is you can't attract outside of your beliefs. You just can't attract outside of your beliefs. And so you got to find a way of lining up with your desire, and then your belief is not opposing it. And then we've been talking to you all day today, all day yesterday, all day, any day that you're willing to gather and listen to us about how easy it is for you to win the vibrational lottery. And the vibrational lottery means you've hooked up with the energy that creates worlds. And specifically, anything that you want is focused upon by source, and it is a sure thing that it will come to be. Not a statistical odds against you. It is a sure thing that it will come to be. But it does require looking at life in a vibrational way. It does require understanding the way things work. What do you think the odds would be if you were to go to the edge of the cliff? There's one over here. Esther likes to stand there and watch the hang gliders just float away. What would the odds be if you didn't have your contraption and you didn't have a parachute and you didn't have an airplane? What would be the odds if you just stepped off the cliff of your just floating away like the others? What would be the odds? 0. Because law of attraction will do the thing that it always does. What we are wanting you to understand is that law of attraction is working for your good fortune. It is working for your prosperity, not against it. But your own beliefs, almost everyone, have been working against your own prosperity. And you can tell by the way you feel when you think about things like that, and you can tell by the way the words sound and feel as you speak them. In other words, it just sounds like the most incredible thing. Everybody's talking about the couple that won, and they're yearning to be that, but it seems like such an anomaly. It seems like such an incredible, iffy, chancy, risky anomaly. But this stuff that we're talking about is not risky, and it's not chancy. It's sure. Once something has bubbled up and become a vibrational desire that you have realized, it is a sure thing. It's already so far along its progression that for it not to occur is ridiculous. And the only reason that it doesn't occur is because you have these habits of thought, and the only reason that you are willing to continue to project these habits of thought that are contrary to the desires that you hold is because you're willing to put up with not feeling so good. Yearning doesn't bother you. Well, you should be soaring. Yearning should bother you. It should feel awful to you to only feel hopeful. Hope in relationship to pure knowing, oh, no comparison whatsoever. But you've just become accustomed to not feeling so good, being a little angry, being a little ornery, being a little depressed, being a little discouraged, being a little mad, being a little blameful, being a little guilty. In other words, you've felt so many of those things in response to the way that you're thinking that you've trained yourself into unnatural acceptance of unnatural vibration. So that when somebody wins the lottery, you go, oh, wow, what an amazing, remarkable freak of nature that is. When everybody is winning the lottery all day, every day, do you know that your Earth is spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets? That is such a good thing. And it's not accidental, and it is for you. You won big-time lottery that your planet is stable. Do you realize how many things are working for you? Your physical body won the lottery, won the lottery, won the lottery. And so as you're appreciating and basking and enjoying and practicing those thoughts that feel good, then those thoughts that have felt natural to you, those ornery thoughts that are blocking your well-being, they'll stop feeling so natural. They'll start feeling like what they are, the reason that things aren't quickly moving for you, you see. And after you get a handle on this and you start predominantly feeling good and you find yourself choking on words that you used to say often because they're really out of whack with who you really are, and you start allowing those magnificent vibrational thoughts to turn to magnificent see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it things, and others will look at you and they will call you lucky. They will call you a freak of nature. They will say, how is it that everything nice keeps coming to you? It's magical, or it's lucky, or it's freakishly lucky. And you'll just say, no, it's not. It's natural. It's who I am. It's the vibration that I emit. It's a natural, law-based experience. It's me projecting something that the universe must match.